Welcome to a chat with Mickey and Catherine. Look at the way we're doing this now. We're trying to do it by Zoom so that we can be in different offices and not have to wear masks. And so I'm really excited about Catherine helping me work this out. You know that I've got a new name for her. She is the Associate Pastor of Technology. And she's trying to train an old dog some new tricks, and I'm trying to learn those. I actually set up this Zoom session, so that is an achievement on my part. And I'm glad that, Catherine, you're not having to wear a mask.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm glad that you're not wearing a hat. Look at that hair you've got there. Tell me about your hair.
It's a lot. I'm actually gonna go try to get a little bit of a haircut today because I'm getting some cowlicks that are a little hard to tame, but it's coming back in about how it was, very thick and with a lot of wave for sure.
Well, I am thrilled that you're having problems with your hair. It is, I don't really have that problem much anymore. So, and of course, Catherine and I've teased many times. I said, "Do you think if I had chemotherapy, I'd grow hair back?" She always says no, and I don't think I will. I want to go over just a few things before we get to our main topic for today. First of all, we've got Ash Wednesday service coming up next Wednesday, and that's going to be what time? 7:00, is it?
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to be a lot of responsive, and we'll do the imposition of ashes, and it's the beginning of Lent. And Lent is basically the 6 weeks leading up to Easter, and so we're going to be stampeding to Easter before you know it there. And let's see, second thing I want to talk about are the Reupholstered Chairs. Several months ago, some time ago, I noticed that the chairs sitting out by Donna's office were really worn, and they were uncomfortable to sit in. And Nancy McMurray was so kind to take those to an upholsterer, and she was able to get some material conveniently for us, and she's brought those back, and they're just beautiful. You'll have to stop by and see the chairs there. The third thing I want to mention was I found that some of our people were involved in the Backpack Kids this morning. Do you know exactly what they do?
I am not sure. I knew that we took up an offering every few months, but I didn't know that it was actually a putting together. So I'm gonna have to figure out more about that so we can let everybody else know.
That's right. I've actually been one time, and
Oh, okay.
when I was here before,
Mm-hmm.
and I didn't know they were meeting this morning, so I didn't go. But I would like to. So if you're the Backpack Kid volunteer, invite me the next time, and we'll do recording. But they're putting food items into backpacks for the kids, and we're doing a collection again on March the 13th, so you can remember that. The last thing another thing I want to mention was our search committee is beginning to work, and so I don't have the survey right in front of me. It's here somewhere on my desk, but that doesn't mean I can find it. So have you got yours?
I do.
All right.
We're typing it up.
I want us to. What's going to happen with that survey?
So it was sent out today in the highlights, both as a thing that you can print or as a link that you can go and just check boxes. So it looks kind of like this, in that it has different qualities of a senior minister. And we're wanting you to select about 8 of those so that the search committee can prioritize the type of person that they're looking for. So it looks like anything from has a deep devotional prayer life to emphasizes outreach beyond our local community, has pastoral care qualities, is creative in planning and leading worship services. So just some different attributes that would make up a senior minister. And then there's a place for comments, but there will be paper versions available on Sundays for you to fill out, or you can use the online version at any point as well.
I'll be very interested in seeing the results of that. It'll tell what kind of senior pastor the church is really interested in having. Mm-hmm. And I think it will also give them a feel for the scope of the job of the senior minister, because you kind of got to be minister of everything when you're the senior minister. So the committee is working, and they are seeking your input. They're moving right along, and Elmer Jackson is the chair, and he's really doing a good job already of getting things moving.
Yeah.
I wanted to mention some prayer concerns before we get into the other thing. Jack Kaiser's in the hospital in ICU. Margaret Milburn is not well at home. Howard Wilson, Edna Prawls recovering from broken leg, Ken Harmon, Nyla Wright Graham, and we've had a couple of people I know who had a bad case of COVID, Odell Hines and Fran Drury, and then Max Gideon has been deployed. He's in the military. He's been deployed to somewhere in Europe. And so with all the tensions there, we want to be praying for him. But the main thing I wanted to talk about today was you started the baptism class. Tell me about your session of last Sunday. You had your first session.
Mm-hmm. So we have 8 girls that are a part of it, and then we have them each paired with a mentor, and then we also have some of our high school girls that are helping as junior mentors. So on Sunday, we started with the first topic, and that is confession, which is obviously a big and kind of scary word. We unpacked that a little bit as we talked about how maybe we first associate that with police and crime, but that's not the type of confession that we're talking about. And so another type would be talking about confession that you see in like the Catholic Church of going to confession and asking for forgiveness of sins. But that wasn't exactly what we were talking about either. We were talking about confession as in prayers. And so looking at our confessions of faith and some of the ones that are written for the disciples or that we might come across in church and making those more of language that we use every day so that whenever we start taking like the Lord's Prayer and being like, what does this say? What does this say and how do we relate to it and how do we figure out what it means to us today? And when we use that kind of everyday language, it makes God easier to talk about with both ourselves and with each other. And so that can help form our faith by having conversations that are in language that we use every day. And so that was a lot of our focus for this past Sunday.
Those young people are asking hard questions too, aren't they?
They are. They have a lot of really great questions. And I know the mentors have to be a little intimidated of just, what if I say the wrong answer? Which I've been very adamant, there is no wrong answer. There's no right answer. It's all about holding this conversation and being in conversation and letting them ask the question in a safe space. And that this is a journey that is not going to end on the 27th of March when we have baptism, but is a lifelong conversation together in a community. And so it's really cool. And it was such a great time on Sunday just being together. I mean, there were like 20 people in this room, and we would split off into groups and then come together and have conversations as a big group. But it's a really great class.
That sounds like a really great class. And I wanted to say that one of my favorite definitions of theology is faith seeking understanding. Mm-hmm. We have faith, and then we spend our lifetime trying to understand our faith. And one of the things I know we've talked about is that we want to encourage kids to express their doubts and talk about, I don't understand this, or I don't believe that. And it's a very disciples Christ thing to do, isn't it?
It is. I mean, like, that's what we do. We want information and we want to engage in dialogue and we want to do that all together. And as we're leading to baptism, it's this time of committing to each other. And so I think it's really cool to ask everybody else in the church to kind of think about that too as we go through that process of.
And I wanted to tell you, you've not seen one of my baptisms. In my baptism, I get them into the water and I say, what now is your confession as we stand in this water? Okay. And I want them to say, Jesus Christ is Lord. And that comes from the passage in Philippians that says, every knee will bow and every tongue confess that Jesus Christ is Lord. And I interpret that as the key core confession of our faith. If we agree that Jesus Christ is Lord, then we can disagree about everything else. We can have doubts about a lot of things in the Bible, but our confession is Jesus Christ is Lord, and that's the key thing. And so you're going to have another baptism class this Sunday. Is that what time of day is that?
This Sunday we will be meeting during the Sunday school hour, so 9:45. And our topic will be contrition. Another big word, but talking about love and forgiveness.
It makes me wonder if all your sessions are going to be words that start with C.
They are.
They are?
They are.
Okay, well, that sometimes I think forcing ideas into neat little patterns like that sometimes may stretch it, but confession and contrition are both very good words.
They are, and it's all based in a book that somebody else wrote. So yeah. I'm using that as a guide, and they did all of that.
Yeah. All right. Well, if you got anything else you think of around church that we need to talk about?
Not that comes to mind.
Nothing comes to mind for me either. I'm really glad that you have joined us for chats with Mickey and Catherine, and we hope that you will give us feedback about how you like these and what we might cover, and we'll look forward to seeing you on Sunday.
See you Sunday.